joined by wonderful Lucy McCarthy, really good friend and top yogini mama.
Hey.
Joining me all the way from Spain. How's life in Spain, Luce?
Fine, actually. Right now we're an hour ahead. So now you might be able to hear in the background is the clapping time. So this is a nice time of day where everyone claps, and there's just a feeling of fitness. Actually, it feels like people wait for this time of day actually to kind of just be in celebration of all of the stuff that the medics are doing. So it was actually quite a nice time of day.
Oh, that's so wonderful. How lovely to have a clapping time. Today in the UK has been so warm. It feels like it's been the first day of summer. I hope that everybody managed to get to go outside if you're in the UK to just enjoy it just for a few moments. That's kind of all we're allowed, but it's magic when you do it.
Yeah, never has the nature seemed more vital. No.
I know, it's crazy. So today we're joined by some lovelies. Hello, thank you very much for joining us. So hi to Raki. Hi, Anne. Lovely to see you. Hi, Juliet, Mary, and hi, Luisata, and hello, Heidi. Hello. Fabulous. Good crew. And plenty others joining us from here and far. And today we were talking about, thinking about in our practices, the subjects of awakening, which is my favorite topic in yoga, of course, because why live life asleep if you can wake up? And hiya, Sandy. Hiya, Priya. Lovely to see you guys. So yeah, awakening to me means not living a path where we're numb. It means living a path where we're able to be really conscious moment to moment, as the dog's tail, and we're able to take the joy in the little things as well as the big things. And right now, it seems to be the little things that the universe is asking us to really look at. And for me, that's what awakening is about. It's really being able to open our eyes and really see the beauty of the world. Oh, hi, Sismondi. Lovely to hear from you. I hope I pronounced your name right. So that's what it is to me. What about you, Luce? Tell me about awakening.
Well, I mean, it's been the thing that has pretty much led my whole life and my whole yogic path, really. And the thing I think that's interesting about it is they say really the only difference between us and like fully awakened, enlightened beings is that they are sustaining this state of wakefulness moment to moment to moment to moment. And so I think there's that as the first thing. And then me for the second thing is actually about awakening to a new identity, which actually involves a shedding of our old identity of I am Lucy, I am a woman, all of these things that we kind of carry around as this big backpack of individualistic self. And then for me, the awakening process has been about dismantling that and actually realizing that my true identity, my true essence is actually one connected to a totality. And so for me, that's what's kept me on the path of this. Because when I feel like that, when we drop into those states of feeling connected to the totality, life becomes easier. Like, because we are part of the totality, there's no me and other, there's just us collectively. And that's why I think it's so amazing that you guys thought of this theme, given the current world circumstances, because I really think one of the boons of this whole situation is that everyone pretty much in the entire world feels unitedly, collectively connected. Which is very, very rare. You know, we're usually going off with our own thing. Right now, pretty much everyone's main issue is what's going on in the outer world in terms of coronavirus. And so actually, I think, you know, using this external circumstance to bring us back into ourselves, to do the work, to return to these practices, to uncover that truth of our true identity, awaken to that. That's why I live for.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's that amazing sense of connection, and almost it's a sense of connection that we're all in our little houses right at this moment, all around the world.
Yeah.
But we are all connected to source, and we're all on a journey that there is something more. There's more magic, even more magic than we see in the sort of mundane day-to-day life. There's more than that. And that's kind of, for me, another beautiful aspect of awakening. Oh, we're joined. Hi, Fenella. Hi, Lisa. Lisa says, lovely practice this morning. I'm really glad that you enjoyed. Holla to Jane. And Naomi Absalom is joining us. And if I'm not wrong, we're talking to each other tomorrow. Holla, Naomi. Hi, Daniel from sunny Poland. Isn't that fabulous? And hello, Susanna. And Susanna says, she's another Lucy lover. She loves your classes. Helped over the last 2 years, bringing healing and joy. It's an awakening time for me. And hi, Zeph, also watching. Isn't that lovely that this time is, I mean, goodness, it's so hard. It's so challenging. It's so tough for so many people who have the bedrock of their lives, their incomes taken away. But this is also a moment where we can dig into, as you said, a sense of community and something a little bit deeper, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when, like, I feel like, you know, to go yogic, we're basically in a full-blown root chakra crisis. And it's interesting because when what we think is our foundation gets pulled away, then we actually have to reassess, okay, well, if those things that I thought were my foundation no longer exist, where do I find foundation? And I mean, I don't know about other people, but my God, more than ever, I don't know how people survive without yoga, genuinely. I mean, I'm looking after my toddler, but it's like more than ever, the time to get still and meditate and yoga has become more valid and more non-negotiable than ever, because I think that's an inner resource that we can keep coming back to, irrespective of what our external circumstances seem looking like. And I just feel constantly just so grateful that I've been given the chance to practice these tools this lifetime.
Well, I am so grateful to be able to practice with you, Lucy, because you know, I just always drop into that place of stillness, of a little taste of bliss when I'm on the mat with you. And Raki feels the same. This morning's practice is one of her favorites. Jeanette Phillips. Hi, Jeanette. Thank you for your wisdom. And Sandy says the meditation practice this morning was so amazing. So yeah, your wisdom is for sure. It touches us. It means a lot. It means a lot that you can share all of the practices that you spend your life learning. And that for me is really important because, you know, I'm just a normal everyday person. I run a business and play with my dogs and drink a glass of wine. But to know that I've got these yogis at hand who you have honestly dedicated your life. You, for fun, read the yogic text at night, which I'd love to say I did, but I really don't. So it's lovely to have your wisdom on hand to be able to share with me and the rest of the community. So thank you.
Well, thank you for creating such an amazing portal for community. I think that's one of the things that is really nourishing people right now, is that we can, despite, like you say, being in our own little 4x4 houses, we still can feel like we're connected, you know, and that's amazing.
It really is. It really is. From all of our houses, we have the vibes are high, that we're gonna all of us wake up. So this is great. Now, do you fancy doing a meditation, everybody? Do you fancy doing one, Lucy? What do you think?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I would love that, because I'm feeling very high and very joyful with all the sunshine, and I feel a little bit of settling for me would be really great. And I wonder if anyone else is feeling like that too.
Well, also, we're riding on the back of a ginormous full moon. And it's like the brightest, closest one of the whole year. And I really feel that also affects our energetics. I certainly notice in the run up to the full moon, sleep is just not as good, you know. And so I often find, you know, in and around the full moon times, these grounding kind of meditative practices super helpful.
Oh, that's a useful one to think about. So that might be another reason why I'm feeling excited.
Yeah, because everything's in this illuminated state, but not necessarily in a kind of integrated way. It can be
exactly
full on.
Full on. Oh, and Sophie has joined us as well, and she has enjoyed all the classes that she's tried. And I think you've got about 80 on there. So I'm really,
We're
really
wrapping them
glad
up now.
that you are. Yes, there are more coming out. There's more from Lucy. So yeah, shall we settle? Shall we ground? Shall we get seated comfortably?
Yes.
I'm looking forward to being led.
Yeah, so I think, you know, the thing to say is that our seat is our foundation when it comes to meditating. So I invite you to take a seat that feels sustainable and comfy. That might be sat on the floor with some props underneath your bum, making sure your hips are higher than your knees, or it might be in a chair with your spine really upright. But it's that key of hips above knees and then head stacked over heart, stacked over pelvis. So it feels like we can sustain it. And then for me, because right now we're in a time of a lot of information and a lot of head, kind of as a prerequisite to my meditation practice at home, I'm usually doing some kind of pranayama, some breath work. So I thought we could move through a breath work known as the Brahmari, the hummingbee breath, and actually move through the 7 chakras so that we get this integrated, like holistic sense of ourself rather than just the loud noise of the mind. And move into some meditation. Does that sound all right?
It sounds perfect to me.
Okay, let me just...
and everyone, just so you know, if anything comes up for you during this, if you have any questions about this or anything else, just type in the comments and we'll have a chat afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, place our hands through the 7 chakras, which are these kind of energy intelligences, basically forms of energy, forms of our intelligence. And as we touch each of the 7 chakras, we're going to send this hummingbee breath. So it's super simple. You just inhale, and on the exhale, you just go, and the kind of vibrational healing sound of the heart start to kind of awaken and clear any stagnation. So let's start from the crown, and then we'll work down so we get rooted. So the first one is the crown chakra. So place both your hands right up on the top of the head. And there's like just a slight sense of weightiness of the hands down into the top of the skull, and then allow your spine to reach up into that. And so you create this really nice lengthening, and then you can close your eyes, bring your awareness into the top of the head where your hands are touching, and then big full lunged breath in, and then hum into where now we'll move to our third eye chakra. So cupping one hand on the front of the forehead, one at the back of the forehead. Again, feeling that sense of the space between the hands. Breathe into that space. And then vibrant hum into the hands. And then gently release the hands now and cup them just very softly around the throat. And this, you get this really nice kind of resonant sound in the vocal cords. So big, deep breath into the space of the throat. And then humming into the throat. Now and then go ahead and place either both hands over your heart, or you can have one hand on the front of the heart, one hand on the back of the heart, whatever feels better. And then again, close the eyes, bring your awareness into your heart space, breathe into it, and then awaken it with the hum. The solar plexus, which is right around where your diaphragm is, just at the base of the ribs in the front. And then big full breath into this power center. And then awakening it with the hum. Now you can slide your hands about 2 inches below your belly button to the penultimate chakra. And again, take a moment to breathe in and sense that area with your awareness. And then send the hum there. And then all the way down now into this root chakra that needs all of the charging up we can offer it right now. So place your hands right down in the lower pelvis. So you can have one hand kind of cupping the front, one hand cupping the back. And I actually learned this from Anna Forrest, one of my teachers. And she said, if you were shy about cupping your groin, you should cup your groin with more. So, you know, if in doubt, just cup your groin with abandon in these strange times. And then bring your awareness right down into your root, into the base of the pelvic floor. Big, deep breath in. And then nice, low, rich, resonant hum. And then very gently now release your hands onto your legs, palms up. And then softly bring the thumb and the index finger to touch one another softly. If you're really feeling like you need a supercharged amount of grounding, then you might even turn the palms to face down. And then just softly root down through the sitting bones, the bones of the buttocks. And as you root down through the sit bones, you might find this soft kind of rebound up through the spinal column, out through the crown of the head. And then allow gravity to relax the muscles of your face. Soften around the jaw, around the base of the tongue. Allow the skin at the top of the shoulders to release. The belly muscles to relax. And then keeping your breath natural, without trying to change your breath, simply bring your awareness, the focus of your mind, onto the flow of the breath as it comes in and it comes out. And it can be nice to focus the awareness just at the edge of the nostrils. So you're feeling the in-breath as it comes in. Allowing the out-breath as it goes out. So not trying to force or control the breath, simply receiving your natural breath as a gift. And so really preceding meditation is concentration, this single point of focus with the mind. So let the breath coming in and out be your single point of focus. And the breath really is this big wisdom body that teaches us about the natural, innate ebb and flow of life in constant flux and change. But the yogic teachings around awakening begin to guide us to sense what's behind all of the movement. That there is this vast totality that is unchanging, that holds the space for all of this movement. And that our true essence, our true identity is more aligned with that vast, unchanging totality than the constant flux and change. And so as we continue to focus on our breath, coming in naturally, going out naturally, we're going to begin to work with a mantra, which is a sacred set of ancient yogic sounds that carry this very healing vibration. And each mantra has its own kind of secret meaning embedded within the sounds. And really, we don't even need to understand necessarily the direct translation of these words. But for some of us who are more kind of mentally orientated, it helps. So we're going to work with a mantra, which is so as we breathe in, and then hum as we breathe out. And you'll say it silently, internally, with a voice quality that is soft and sweet. And so hum is said to mean I am. And then there's this vast space afterwards. So this is the mantra that really guides us into this place of beginning to drop into the truth of our true essence. So as you breathe in, you say the word so internally, silently. As you breathe out, hum. Breathing in, so. Breathing out, hum. I am. And then there's space, there's silence afterwards that drops us into the vast, unexpressible truth of our true essence, our true nature. When we get quiet, when we turn inwards, we begin to awaken to that truth. So keep following your breath in and out. Be very sweet and kind and gentle with yourself. If you notice the mind wander, without any struggle, without any drama, just simply guide your mind back to your breath and back to the mantra. So as you breathe in, hum as you breathe out. Imagine the entire inner space of your body being filled with this silent sound of the mantra. So hum. Keeping the mantra, keeping the breath natural. Just see if you can find the moments of suspension at the top and the bottom of the breath. It's said to be these moments of suspensions are like little doorways, little moments of awakening to peak that vastness, that unchanging vast totality behind the change, behind the flux. So breathing in, so breathing out, hum. Over and over, keep coming back to the breath, keep coming back to the mantra. So hum. If the mind's drifted, just gently anchor it back to the breath. And repetition of the sacred words, so hum. Stay as focused as you can on the breath, on the mantra, for the last few minutes of following the mantra. And now simply let the sound, that inner sound of the mantra, softly fall away. Even let the awareness of the ebb and flow of the breath begin to soften in your awareness. And simply seed your awareness into the very center of your chest, what is known in the yogic realm as the energetic heart center. Just simply place your awareness there. In soft inner listening of the inner whisperings of your heart. And then begin to sense that awareness like a ball of light beginning to spread out from the center of your heart and your chest out in all directions. Beginning to spread upwards towards the head, sideways into the arms and the chest, downwards in towards the belly. And keep visualizing this energy of the heart spreading out in all directions until it starts to reaches the edges of the body, to the crown of the head, into the fingertips, down into the legs, down into the feet. So the inner body is vibrant and bright with this heart energy. And then begin to allow that energy of the heart space to now go beyond the boundaries of your physical body and skin. Start to visualize and sense and feel that heart energy now spreading out all around you, out in front of you, behind you, to the sides of you, diagonally, so that it starts to fill the entire space of the room that you're sat within. Generated from this vital magnetic center of the heart. And then keep allowing this heart energy to reach outwards now, so it starts to reach into the whole of your house. And then beyond the boundaries of your house, into the earth beneath your house, up into the sky, out into the space next door to your house, maybe into your neighbor's house. And then keep allowing it to spread further and further, connecting with all of the life it meets, the trees, the earth, the sky, other people, plant life, animal life. Using your heart to reach out and find that source of connection. Until you really start to feel that from the center of you, you're reaching out into this vastness, into this totality. Centered and yet very connected to the greater whole. And then allow that sense of vastness all around you to just softly stay, but simply call your awareness back into the center of your heart. And very slowly, very delicately begin to bring the hands together into prayer, Anjali Mudra, in front of the heart space. Listen with your entire being to how you feel now. Notice any shifts that have been created through your commitment to be here to practice. And then bow your head. Even cats, dogs have heard this.
Shut the door, sorry guys.
And then smile sweetly internally. The universe and spirit speaks to us in all different ways. And really the yogic teachings are that everything, every single thing that happens to us, whether seemingly pleasant or unpleasant, seemingly calming or shocking, all of it is this call to awaken. It's like a tap on the head. It's like spirit knocking us on the head and saying, hey, wake up, become present. And so I really invite you to view the current situation that we are in as this invitation to become very present, to become very aware moment to moment, and to be ultimately in great gratitude for every single knock of the head that we get, that cause us to awaken to this remembrance of who and what we truly are. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with me here across the ethers. I really feel you each very strongly, and I hope that your practices continue to nourish you and allow each of us to be at the center, the eye of the storm, as beings who are emanating as best we can peace and steadiness, whilst allowing ourselves to feel all of the feelings that arise whilst being a human in embodied form. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much, Lucy. And sorry, everybody, about the doggos who got excited. I really enjoyed that, sending the heart out to everybody. That really was such a beautiful practice, because I feel, especially right now, there are so many people who are really in need of our full heart, our full compassion, our full care. It's lovely to actually do that very deliberately in a practice. You know, we all know people who are really horribly impacted by this virus. And just to be able, because sometimes we feel so powerless as well.
Yeah.
It's lovely to be able to feel that we can do something. We can send them our love, as well as doing the more practical things that we can do to help vulnerable people. But yeah, Lara Joss, so simple and effective. Thank you. Hello, Andriana. Hello, Georgie. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. So I really hope that you guys feel as connected, as grounded, as full of love and awake as that really. It really did it for me. That was really, really, it was deeply touching. So, yeah, I agree with you, Rosie. It was really beautiful. And it's lovely to have these practices, to have, as you say, you know, what do people who don't do yoga do? To have these tools in a toolkit.
Yeah, I'd be fully mental without my yoga.
I'm fully mental with my yoga, so I would be like without it. So yeah, I really am so grateful to you for teaching us that, and teaching us the power. It's so potent to be able to feel that connection. As you say, you know, I could feel that from everybody. I could really feel that very yeah, real feeling. And I can see from your comments. Oh, Naomi, miss you, Lucy.
Miss you, Naomi.
Yeah, so it's nice to feel connected. And that's kind of, again, you know, we know that there is a lot of real suffering happening right now. But to know that there is also the possibility of connection through that.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that I really have seen and sensed, you know, is that, you know, because it's interesting being in Spain, but a lot of my family are in the UK, because it's kind of like we're sort of 2 weeks ahead, but it's further ahead. And what I really notice is that there is waves of how humanity seems to respond. And initially it's more around fear and anxiety and panic. But then what starts to come through is the immense beauty of the human spirit. And I'm just constantly humbled by the stories I hear about how people are reaching out to each other and helping each other. And, you know, it's super moving. And I think, you know, it's about where we choose to put our awareness. And if we choose to put our awareness only on the head-based panic and fear, then that's what's going to overwhelm our whole system. Whereas if actually we go to the heart and to actually some of the beauty that's arising out of this, because there's everything that exists in the world of the material realm is going to have that flux and change, that seemingly light and dark. And so there will always be a balancing factor, but it's about being conscious about seeking it out if we're only in one area. It's also not about just going la la la, it's not happening. It's about honoring the two, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that you know, that obviously it's very tempting to want to keep your finger on the pulse and want to be like, right, I'm watching the news all the time. And yeah, we have to keep up to date. But I think to minimize almost the amount that because, you know, following a death toll, you're not helping anybody by doing that.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you know, because when you come back to the yogic teachings, discernment is one of the key teachings of like being discerning about everything. But I really think now more than ever, it's like discerning of like, okay, what am I giving my attention to every day? How much time am I giving to it? And actually, is that thing that I'm giving attention to helping me or not? You know, and I think that's a learning curve because we're in completely you know, unprecedented, unnavigated terrain. So we're learning on the job with all this, and that's why I think we need to be incredibly kind and compassionate to ourselves on the journey, because we're probably gonna go too far one way and then too far the other. Eventually, hopefully, we'll find a middle ground somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that. And I know this is really touching a lot of people. Sandy, thank you so much. I love being on the retreat. How lucky are we? I feel very, 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 very lucky to have such amazing teachers guiding me through this as well. So I agree with you, Sandy. And yeah, Fenella, thank you. And I'm glad you found it. And Carol as well. Thank you. And Jane, yeah, it's a pleasure to fix this up. It really is. It feels like it's you know, this is my life work, is connecting the people who do the real work, the real inner work, with all of us sort of very busy day-to-day people who don't necessarily have the time to be sort of knee deep in all the yogic texts. We just want kind of that tonic brought to us in a really easy to digest format that we can get on and understand little snippets, so that we can, like you say, that snippet about discernment that's within the yogic text is discernment, and then we can think about how that relates to our life. That's really very magical. Do any of you guys have any questions for our fabulous Lucy now that she is here? Lucy, how are you getting on? Because you are pregnant at the moment.
I am. I've got a pretty large freaky.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see that, everyone.
It's a super bump. That's fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, leaning over to pick up the toys I pick up for my daughter 9 million times a day is getting harder. But I'm good, you know. It's like, you know, I mean,
yeah,
like a bump proves to you that despite external circumstances,
life goes on.
You know, it's gonna carry on. You know.
Yeah, not an easy time to be pregnant, I'm sure, as well as not an easy time to have a toddler. So, hearts to you.
Well, you know, there's like everything. There's blessing and curses in every situation. You know, I also feel really, because we're on pretty strict lockdown here in Madrid. So there's lots of people I know who are living at home by themselves, and they're by themselves, you know. So even when my daughter is really testing me, I am constantly like grateful of like, I've got someone here to bounce off of, actually.
Lovely. Yeah, I think that's it. It's being grateful for what we do have. And congratulations from Heidi.
Thanks.
And Leah also said hi, Leah from our retreat at Sierra Leone last year. Okay, well, if there's and congratulations from Jane. And no other questions, you can always write questions in the comments afterwards, and we'll keep a tab of this, and Lucy will be able to get back to you with anything that's coming up for you. We're here to support you on the retreat. You know, we're now probably about halfway in, so shifts might be happening, things might be changing for you. So keep connected on this group, you know, ask questions, reach out for support, because you know what, if you ask a question, chances are there's 10 other people who are also feeling that, who also would like to share. And I think the other thing that when we're on a retreat happens is sometimes we feel that we ought to only be telling our uplifting stories, but sometimes life isn't like that. It's not all about, you know, rainbows and unicorns and uplifting stories. Like very real struggles going on. And I think it is also nice to share that too. And
well, like I said as well, with awakening, like awakening is to some degree a shedding of an old ego, old identity, and that is innately uncomfortable. And I think we go on retreats obviously to feel comfortable and awaken and transform, but there will be some gritty, challenging moments. And I think again we celebrate that that's a sign that things are shifting, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And hi, Anne. And Anne was also on retreat with us on our MFML retreat in Sierra Leone, and Dawn as well. So we have all
the ethers back together.
Absolutely, and Tyler as well. So we have lots of Movement from One Life retreaters now online as well. And that's wonderful. So guys, keep the questions coming. Let's keep inspiring other people, supporting other people, but also, you know, we are going through stuff and it's okay to talk about that too.
Totally.
Okay, so Lucy, thank you so much for your time, and thank you very, very much, my fellow retreat community.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And I'll see you guys tomorrow evening. And I think, oh, it's wonderful, Naomi. So I look forward to that. All right. Lots of love, everybody.
Love.